Hello everyone, this is a 2002 Ford Focus. It's the 1.6 Zetec, and it's just been bought by a friend of mine. It's in pretty good condition overall, but one issue that we've just come across is that once the engine is warm, it tends to idle a little bit on the slow side. As you can see here, it's idling probably just under 600 RPM. So, and it actually sometimes drops down to about maybe 500 RPM. And when it does that, you can feel the whole car juddering, and it's kind of pretty close to cutting out. So it turns out that this is quite a common problem with these engines. And the reason for it is that this here is the throttle body, and over time what happens is, even with the filter, eventually you get some kind of carbon deposits building up on the throttle body, so that when it's fully closed, there's not enough air getting through, and the engine can compensate for that to a degree, but eventually it gets clogged up to the point where it struggles a bit on idle, keep moving. Right, so I've just taken off the inlet pipe that goes from the air cleaner to the throttle body. If we look down inside here, you can actually see there's quite a lot of dirt deposit on the edges of the butterfly there. It's a bit difficult to see on the camera, but you can see it's a bit dark around the edges. And that, I think, is going to be the root cause of our problem, because it's blocking up the air from flowing when the engine is idling. So we're going to take this off, and then we're going to use some throttle body or carb cleaner. Okay, so I've now got the throttle body off. Here it is here. And you can see by looking in there that that is filthy. So that really could do with a clean. So I'm going to take it inside and clean it all up, and we'll see whether that helps. Before we go inside, there's one last thing we're going to do, which is just to disconnect the battery, for two reasons. The first being that if someone accidentally tried to start the car without the throttle body on, hopefully the car would realise that there's a problem and just not start. But what could happen is the car could start, and essentially what you've got here is a wide open throttle. So this is the same as having your foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. There's no restriction to the air flowing into the engine there at all. So theoretically that could basically just cause the engine to run away and basically over rev. So yeah, disconnect the battery so you can't start the engine, but also because it will reset the ECU, because what's happened is as this throttle body's got clogged up with dirt over time, the engine management system has compensated. So if we disconnect the battery, that will reset the ECU, and then when we put the throttle body back on, the engine will start again, basically, as if it was a new one. Okay, so here we have the throttle body, and here we have some basically carb cleaner or throttle body cleaner. It's pretty much the same thing. And what I'm going to do is just use this soft cloth and just gently clean the inside of the throttle body. I've got to be a little bit careful here because they are coated with a special kind of membrane, so I don't want to destroy that. So I'm just going to be very gentle and just gently try and get some of that muck off the edge of the butterfly valve there. So when you're doing this, there's just a couple of points to note. The first is that you may notice when you take this off the engine that there is actually a label on here which says, "Attention, do not clean the inside the throttle body or adjust the hardtop screw. Special coating on throttle plate and bore." So I've done some research and it appears that the special coating is designed to stop corrosion inside here, which I'm not sure what exactly would corrode given that most of it's made out of plastic, but apparently that's what it's for. It's okay to use carb cleaner or throttle body cleaner and a soft cloth, just as long as you don't scour the bore or the edge of the plate, because that will affect the airflow. But as a disclaimer, if you do this and you mess up your throttle body, I am not responsible for that because there are too many variables involved. But according to my research, it's fine to clean it gently and get rid of all the carbon deposits. The second point is this little plastic O-ring, which basically goes in there. You should take this out before you start cleaning inside the throttle body, because this stuff doesn't react well to the cleaning solution. Okay, so after a bit of cleaning, this has come up quite nicely. See, it's a lot better than it was before. It's not absolutely perfect because the design of this plastic butterfly valve in here is quite difficult to actually clean properly. But I think I've done a reasonable job of getting the surfaces clean again. Here's the cloth that I used. As you can see, there's a lot of carbon deposits on there, so clearly that was in need of a clean. If you now lift this up to the light, you can actually see that there is actually a faint strip of light all the way around the edge there, even when the throttle is closed. And that's what you should be able to see in a healthy throttle body. Before I cleaned this, that was absolutely black. You couldn't see any light through there at all. So now a small amount of air will still be able to pass when the throttle's closed, and that is exactly how it should be. Okay, so throttle body is back in. There it is there, all tightened up. I've reconnected the battery as well. So the next step is you have to basically initialize the electronic system, because I've had the battery disconnected. So what you do is you just turn the key to position 2, so that's 1, 2. You can see it's doing a bit of a thing there. And you just basically give that about 30 seconds or so, and then switch it back off again. Quite important when you do this, don't press the accelerator pedal, because the throttle body is actually going through an initialization process right now. Right, it's time for the moment of truth. Idling a little bit high, but that's obviously because it's got to get used to the new position, but also the car's cold as well, so it seems to have dropped down to about a normal level already. Can't hear any leaks, so job done, I think. I'm going to take it for a spin. Okay, well, I'm not sure if it's just my imagination, but the car does feel more responsive now. And in actual fact, a couple of people online were saying that they experienced that as well. Not quite sure how that would actually happen just from cleaning the throttle body, but it does feel good, I must say. Maybe it's because the engine management system can understand the throttle position better now, I don't know. But feels good, drives smoothly, accelerates well. Okay, so I'm just letting it idle now, and the idle is much smoother. It's not rattling the whole car like it used to. It's not showing much difference on the actual tachometer, but it's making just enough of a difference that it doesn't feel like it's about to cut out, which is what it felt like before. So yeah, all in all, I think that's a success.